Hey, hey, hey. I'm glad you joined us. This is a special day. We're going to be talking about gratitude, but not just being thankful, not just being grateful. We're going to be talking about gratitude as a source of strength and support. And I have my new friend here to join us, and I'll introduce her in just one moment. Hi there. Welcome to Stress Talk Live. This is the place where we help women over 40 to live healthier lives through strategic stress management, solution focused self care, and grateful living. I am so very excited and very honored to have a special guest today. Her name is Laura Bratton, and I'm going to bring her on screen so you can meet her as well. Hey, Laura.
Hi, thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you here, and I'm so glad to have met you. But you all, let me tell you a little bit about Laura. I'm not going to tell you her complete story, but I'm just going to tell you some of her accomplishments, and we'll get into her story in a moment. And you know what? You may learn a little bit more about me as well as we talk. First of all, Laura is a graduate of Arizona State University. And I didn't tell you this, Laura, but a good friend of mine graduated from Arizona
Awesome.
State University. We grew up together.
That is great. I
Isn't that
love all
funny?
these connections.
Oh my gosh. She holds a Bachelor of Arts in psychology. She also earned her Master's of Divinity from Princeton Theological Seminary. She's also the author of the book entitled Harnessing Courage. Laura founded UB Global, and this is an organization that provides speaking and coaching that empowers people to overcome their challenges as well as obstacles in life with gratitude. So let's welcome Laura. I'm so glad
Thank,
you're here.
thank you. I am super excited.
Me too. Me too. So Laura, I really kept the big I kept the big thing about you out of the introduction. And if you don't mind, would you share with our audience what prompted you to start UB Global?
Absolutely. So, 100% the reason I started UB Global was because of my life experience. So, as a teenager, I went from full sight to no sight. So, I had to completely adapt to life as a sighted person in a sighted world. And still now, as a woman in her 40s, I still have to live every single day as a person without sight in a sighted world. So, my deep passion, the reason I wrote the book, the reason I do the speaking, I do the coaching, it's 100% because of my life situation. That's why I do the work that I do.
Tell me, so you started losing your sight at a young age. I believe you were around 9 years
Yes.
old. What did that, what, when did you start using gratitude as a source of your strength? And how did that look? As a young person, that I can't even imagine what that looks like.
So it all came through a very short conversation with a mentor. Like, I want to promise you, as a teenager who was actively losing her sight, I
Mm,
never woke up and said, I feel so grateful today.
yeah.
Guys, this is a wonderful, everyone should try this, right? Like, hey, friends, you
Mhm.
should try this out and see how easy life is. I was never feeling grateful. Quite the opposite. I was convinced I had nothing to feel grateful or appreciative for. And towards the end of high school, I had a mentor say to me one day, Laura, I want you to start developing a mindset of gratitude. Well, as you know, being from the deep South, what do? You look at her, you smile, and you say, yes, ma'am, thank you.
That's right.
What you're thinking in your head is, are you serious? Like, let me remind you, I'm losing my sight. I'm anxious. I'm depressed. I'm grieving. I'm the least person in the world that needs to develop a mindset of gratitude. Like, you're a bad mentor. So only in my Southern stubbornness, I wanted to prove her wrong and show her I had nothing to be grateful for. And I mean that very literal, like I was deeply Southern and deeply stubborn to say, I'm going to show you, lady. So I started to think of things I was grateful for. And the one day became 3 days. And the 3 days became a week. A week became a month. The 3 things every day became 5, 10, 15, 20. And what I realized was I thought she was saying, be grateful for the blindness, be grateful for the adversity, be grateful for this difficulty when you just want to be a normal teenager getting her driver's license. What she was teaching me is develop a mindset of gratitude that helps you navigate through life regardless of the situation. So a very practical example of what that means is she was not teaching me to end the day and say, oh, this day was, I was so grateful that I was blind. She wanted me to end the day saying, I'm grateful for teachers that will teach me this technology that makes computers accessible. I'm grateful for the parents that believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. I'm grateful for the brother that continued to treat me like that annoying little sister and just continue to treat me normal and wish I would just leave him alone, right? So again, she taught me gratitude is not being happy and positive and thankful and cheery and joyful and smiley and minimizing our pain. Gratitude is in the midst of our pain, in the midst of all life, the good, the bad, finding what we're appreciative for is our foundation.
Yes. That's so, I think that's very profound because many people associate gratitude with positive circumstances.
Right.
And the reality is that gratitude is not necessarily dependent on the circumstances.
It's not at all dependent on circumstances.
Right. It's right. It's really dependent on where your mind is. And that's so, when I hear that, I recall when our family was going through such difficulties years ago when our daughters were very young, 5 and 3. My husband had to have a below the knee amputation. I mean, literally, we had all kinds of things going on in our lives. Financial, job, loss of job. It was just crazy. It was craziness. We're in the whirlwind. And for a long time during that time, because this spanned years, I was trying to hold on to the things, right? The things.
Yes.
It was the material things, the reputation, the look, all of those things. And what I've learned is those things did not really give me the joy I thought it did.
Right.
And so with that, I started saying, I just started looking at things differently and changing the way I was thinking about what was going on in my life. and I started expressing, similar to you, gratitude for seeing my daughter smile,
Right.
being able to play with them,
Right.
being able to play with
Literally.
them, you
Yeah.
know, watching them run around the neighborhood with their friends, being able to go outside and see the blue sky, to experience the sunshine on my skin. I mean,
Yeah.
it was like little things that we don't really pay attention
Right.
to.
Right.
That became, I was like, golly, I'm really grateful that seeing bees, bumblebees. I mean,
That is so true.
isn't that
Yeah,
something?
it is
It,
so true.
it's
I'm thankful for that wind blowing,
yeah,
like literally what we consider small things that we think don't matter.
yeah,
We realize how grateful and how much they sustain us.
yeah, yes, yes. Because our lives are really not dependent on the things.
Right. Right.
And I think we get consumed with grasping and holding on to all of that. I talk to a lot of people who they're just concerned about how they're going to pay their bills, right?
Right.
And in reality, we're struggling to pay our bills because we want more.
Right.
We want more of those things, but
Right.
those things are not going to last.
Right. Right.
They're not going to last. They're going to fade away. They're going to get old. We're not going to want them. It's not going to last. But what does last is those intrinsic
Right.
parts of life,
Right.
being connected with someone,
Right.
having conversations that are meaningful,
Yes.
being able to look at someone and smile. Those are the
Mhm.
things that
Mhm.
really that are meaningful and make a difference.
Make a
When we met, one of the things that I was just so excited about was we were talking on everybody. We were talking on a video call, and Laura came on and she was like, "Hi." She had this big personality, and I was like, "Whoa."
Here's a type A extrovert. You sewn me up in 30 seconds.
But just that enthusiasm, I mean, just that big hello was so open and so welcoming. And I was like, I jumped right into it.
Yeah.
That meant so much to me. That's what I'm talking about. When we're in the throes of some of our darkest times in life, it's those moments
Yes.
that we can be grateful.
Yes. Just like you were talking about in the darkness, the smiles of your daughter, just their giggles, their laughter, being able to play with them. That didn't change the difficulty you all were going through as a family, yet it gave you strength in the midst of the difficulty.
Absolutely.
That's the gift of gratitude.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We started a tradition because we were like broke. We had no money.
Yeah.
We were like broke. Christmas time would come, and we had family who helped us, with gifts for our girls. But we started a tradition where we would buy a Christmas game, a board game that we could play together.
Oh, wow.
And we still do that. We've kind of transitioned to puzzles now, 1,000-piece puzzles that we can do together. Because it was what became important to us, or to me and my husband, was let's spend the time together.
Right.
And so around Christmas, they got a few things that they needed, like clothes and things like that. But we would have a board game that we would play, and we would play that game to death. I think one of the games was Dutch Blitz. We played that game. I don't even know where those cards are now.
They're worn out.
Yeah. But we would play them because the important thing that taught us to be grateful was just seeing. We would laugh, we would talk, and we spent a lot of time together.
The connection.
The
Circling back to what you said. Yeah.
Yes. The connection. So, Laura, I know there's some people out there who are probably wondering, well, okay, they get gratitude. They get that. But what about people who are like, they always seem to be happy, but it doesn't seem to be real? Like, I guess the term would be toxic
positivity.
Yes, let's talk about that. What's the difference between gratitude and toxic positivity?
Through my life experience, I realized gratitude is a healing resource that gives me strength. I'm combining the words. Mm-hmm. Toxic positivity increased, and I mean this again, very literal, increased my panic attacks and made me more depressed. Let me explain. Let me break those down.
Yes.
So I tried that. Again, you can relate, I'm assuming, being from the Deep South. That's where we go in pain, right? That toxic positivity is where we go. No, I'm good. I got it all, I got it all together. I'm great. It's all good. It's all happy. We pretend that we're joyful, that we're smiling, that we're rested, and all that does is bypass our pain. Yeah. It covers up, it masks our pain. It does not validate the reality of a situation. Mm-hmm. So again, a real world example for me, what I mean by that, when I was in those high school, college days, I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm great with all this. This is wonderful. And life is easy and smiling, positive. That made my anxiety worse and made my depression deeper because it never gave me permission to sit in the pain, to sit in the grief and say, this is a tremendous loss that I do not know how I'm going to get through. Mm-hmm. It never gave me permission to just be with my real feelings and validate all the range of emotions. Mm-hmm. So again, for me, that positivity was a mask that prevented me from moving forward in a way that could have been much, much quicker, much more real, much more authentic healing than just that mask cover up healing. And then again, like gratitude, we can talk more about this later, but the gratitude is that rock, that foundation of strength. So what has that been your experience with the toxic positivity? That it's like that mask. It's like it blocks us from the pain. It's like that bypass.
Absolutely. I would go to work every day and no one knew what we were going through.
100%.
No one knew until one day I was supposed to get reimbursement from my workplace, and I didn't get it, and I was in a tizzy, and because I was depending on that reimbursement to take care of some of our responsibilities, our financial responsibilities. And so one of the receptionists actually looked at me and she said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "Oh, nothing. I'm good. I'm fine. I'm good." And the funny thing is, I was really just passing through. And she said, no, Marcy, I can see it all over your face. Something is wrong. And I looked at her and I said, "I'm good. No. I kept saying, I'm good. And she said, she got out of her seat, leaned over the front desk, and she said, "I want to know what's going on with you because I can look at you and tell something is wrong.
Wow.
She forced me to tell her what was happening. And so, but I was like, in my mind, I was thinking, I should not tell her because, first of all, I didn't want anyone to know about our situation. I was embarrassed.
Yep.
I was ashamed.
Yep.
And I grew up in a household where my mother didn't even borrow butter from the neighbors. You know?
You are so Southern. I love to use that example. That is hilarious. That's exactly what I would say.
Yeah. You didn't borrow anything. Now, it was okay if you loaned something.
Of course it was.
But you could not borrow anything. And you couldn't ask for help. You had to, do it yourself.
Figure it out.
Exactly. And so, because she was forcing me to tell her, I had all of these emotions. I remember I just started crying because I was like, we're in this situation and I'm having to tell it, and so many emotions. So I finally I said to her, okay, I was expecting the mileage check and I didn't get it. I know I turned my paperwork in on time, actually early, and I needed that money because I needed to pay whatever it was. And she said, well, she asked me if I talked to the CEO. And I said, oh, no, I didn't talk to anybody. Well, did you talk to our accountant, our financial person? No, I didn't talk to anybody. And she said, Marcy, go tell them. And I said, no, I can't. I cannot. And she just looked at me like, what? And I was like, no, I'll figure it out. I'm okay. I'll figure it out. So I left. Mm-hmm. When I came back through, she said, I talked to the CEO. He said that you are to go downtown to talk to the financial person and she's going to have your check for you. And I looked at her like, what? And then she lectured me. She said, Marcy, you cannot do this. If you need help, you have to let us know. We love you and we will help you. Wow. Now, mind you, Laura, I was working in a facility that worked with youth who were dual diagnosed. So I'm in a helping profession, right? But I could not ask for help. I couldn't ask for help because I had that mask on.
The mask.
Yes, I had that mask on, but I was in pain. I was hurting every day, but I kept that mask on. After that day, she was my friend, but I couldn't tell her thing. I didn't want to tell her. But after that day, she was so kind. She brought me gift cards. She said, here, her brother was a pastor. Here, you take these. And I was like, oh, no, I can't. Yes, you can. And if you need more, you let me know. She would bring food to my house.
Wow.
And that taught me so much. She said, Marcy, she said, we're here. We love you. And we will help you. You can't do this by yourself. Well, I learned so much about that. And again, when we talk about gratitude, I was so grateful for that environment for her, but just the environment. Yes. Because it allowed me to heal. It allowed me to face the pain that I was in. And there were others who helped me to carry it. Yes. And it wasn't like they were throwing it in my face or putting me down for it. They were there to hold me up, to shore me up. And I think that we forget about that when we're going through things, that there are people in our lives who are willing and waiting to just be those pillars for us if they just knew
If
we
yes,
need it.
yes,
So, but I had that, oh man, I had that mask on.
it was thick, right?
It was, I'm telling you, yes,
It was not a paper mask, right?
No,
But here's
no.
what stands out to me in what you shared that's so powerful that I want every single person, I want us to highlight so everyone hears this. You were not the victim. You taking off the mask did not put you in this pity victim picture. Notice what she said. What she said to you was the key, and you said it twice. And I want everyone to hear this, because when we're in trauma, we forget this. You taking on the mask allowed them to love you.
Yes.
You taking off the mask allowed the CEO to give to you what you had given to the organization for so long: support.
Yes.
They came around you to support you, not alarm, alarm. We got to pity her. We got to pity Marcy. Right? Like, we got to coddle her. We got to like take care of her. Like she's our little project, right?
Right.
That's what stood out so strong to me as you just, that was woven throughout that whole story as you shared it. You taking off the mask did not make you victim weak. You taking off the mask allowed you to receive love.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
And I want to make that so clear for everyone listening, because I'm only saying this because I need to hear that message. I was so afraid to take off that mask because I thought that made me weak and not worthy and less of a human.
Mm-hmm.
But here's what you said, the one word, pillar.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember? I don't even remember if you remember saying it, but you said, I allowed them, I received their support to be my pillars.
Yes.
That's community. That's gratitude.
Yes.
That's the point of our conversation. It was a healthy interdependence.
Mm-hmm.
And you being honest and being real allowed that to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes.
So good work, you. You just summed up our whole podcast. Why the hell was I here? You could have done that story and episode over.
But isn't it
beautiful illustration?
Yeah, isn't it something that I think we don't realize is everyone has a story, and we are not always forthcoming in telling and sharing it.
Right.
But so much of what we experience, other people experience it. It may not be exactly the same, but it's similar.
Right. Right.
And because of that, it helps to hear. It really does, because it can help facilitate healing.
Yes.
Like, hey, we're both talking about losses that we've experienced. Yours is personal to yourself. Right. My loss encompasses my family and how I was trying to, keep it moving,
right. keep it going.
Right. Keep the family running. And yet we've experienced very similar emotions around it.
Right.
And our experiences are somewhat similar in how we initially dealt with it.
Yes, 100%. And that's another powerful point that I want everyone to recognize. When you're listening to us have this conversation, if you were the person going through the change, or you were the person supporting the person, you were the family unit of the person going through the change, that mask is just the same.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to protect ourselves from the real emotions. And yet when we can have the courage to feel those real emotions, that's when healing happens.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. I'm nodding my head. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah. I'm like a bobblehead.
We're two bobbleheads over here.
Oh, so Laura, tell us about grit and gratitude. You write about this in your book, that grit and gratitude are partners.
Yes, 100%.
Will you talk about that a little bit, please?
So partners is a perfect word. For me, grit and gratitude, when they're in balance, that's the healing. That's the power. Because one without the other, it just doesn't work. If you have all that grit, okay, I'm going to be strong. I'm going to be courageous. I'm going to validate my emotions. I choose to keep going forward. That's exhausting on its own, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yet, if you always have the stop to reflect on what you have in the midst of difficulty, that's empowering, but that doesn't move you forward. The gift, the partnership comes when they're in balance. And so that's what I wrote my whole entire book about, is that as I went through the vision loss, I had to have both equal measures of the grit of saying this is hard and I choose to move forward, while also saying in this hard and choosing to move forward, I am thankful for the guide dog that helps me navigate the world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yes, you can absolutely have one without the other, but the healing force comes in the balance. And still to this day, like I said before, as a woman in her 40s, I use those two tools every moment of every day. Sometimes I need more of the grit. Sometimes I need more of the gratitude, but they're always working in tandem to provide that holistic foundation as I navigate through life.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to ask you to define and describe grit, because again, it's a Southern term. My mom always talked about grit in her craw. What does that mean? But right.
All right, so I'm going to define it how you and I define it in the South, and then I'm going to circle back to how I just quickly defined it.
Okay.
So I grew up, and I'm sure you did too by what you just said, I thought grit was sweep it under the rug, swallow your emotions, swallow the pain, keep the mask on, and keep the mask tighter when things are good. Mm-hmm. And somehow you'll just grin and bear to get through it. Mm-hmm. When I did that, I was more depressed. My depression got worse. My anxiety was even worse, and the panic attacks were constant. I would have multiple a day. And I thought, well, what's wrong with this picture? I have grit. I have exactly what I need. Let's just keep marching. And what's wrong with this picture? It wasn't until I realized true grit, true resilience, true courage is stopping the marching. Rather than swallowing the pain, it's acknowledging the pain, validating the pain, and still choosing to move forward. Mm-hmm. So it's not validating the pain. Let's just sit in it for the rest of our lives, right? Mm-hmm. Let's just sit in this depression from now and forevermore.
Right.
It's saying, let's sit in this depression, acknowledge that it's there, and then what's the one action I can do today to help move me forward towards less depression? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's not inactivity or inaction, it's acknowledging the pain and still choosing to keep going.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So a lot of people that I talk to, especially in my private practice, talk about suppressing their emotions. And when we suppress our emotions, it's really like pressing them down so we don't feel them, so they don't come out in any way. And the difficult thing about that is it shows somehow,
right?
Whether it's through some chronic condition, or whether it's through how we react or respond to certain things, it still comes out. And so I'm often working with them so that they can learn that it is okay to experience the emotion, because the thing about it is, as long as we can experience it, as long as we're not putting fuel to it.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
what causes us that ongoing struggle or the ongoing pain is that we're feeding it. We're feeding the fuel. But if we can acknowledge it, call it what it is,
Yes.
then it really does dissipate. It's hard to convince people of that, though.
It's hard to convince people of that until it was my lived experience. So one day I was sitting in my therapist's office, I'm sitting on the couch, she's in her chair, and she said, Laura, next time you experience anxiety, which, we both kind of laughed, just like, okay, that'll be an hour after I get home, right? That'll be as soon as I leave your office, lady. But as soon as you feel that anxiety, I want you to sit down and for 5 minutes, like set a timer, 5 minutes, turn towards the anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at her like, you have 12 heads, and why in the world am I paying you to tell me that? I am paying you to get that bad advice. And there's a theme here, because remember, I thought my mentor was giving me terrible advice. So notice the theme, right? So again, in that stubbornness, I went home and I thought, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Like, I've never read that in a book before, all the self-help books out there. Mm-hmm. So again, I'm going to do it. So I sat down in my chair, I set my alarm for 5 minutes, and I just let the anxiety come. Because it was already coming. So rather than, like you said, rather than push it down and press it down, I just let that feeling in my stomach come, that tension, that that nausea in your stomach, the anxiety nausea, not like sick physical nausea.
Yes.
And after 5 minutes, I just got up and kept going about my day. Mm-hmm. And a couple hours later, I was like, oh, that didn't turn into a panic attack. Oh, I don't have shortness of breath. Oh, I'm not a puddle of tears. Maybe she's right. And so I started to practice it. Every time anxiety would come up, I would just take a few minutes and turn towards it. And it decreased. And slowly over time, the depression decreased. Yeah. And I would not have believed her or you saying it if I had not, that was not my lived experience. But it's 100% right. When we give it breath, when we give it attention, it goes away.
Yeah.
And for me, that was my control. I couldn't control, I was losing my vision, but I could control my anxiety towards it. Yeah. I could let it breathe and let it literally leave my body. And that is a gift. I have to say, that has been one of the biggest tools I've used towards healing. And when I say healing, I don't mean like perfection, ta-da, life is rosy. I mean healing like progress towards that self-compassion, that self-love. And I still, to this day, I do that all the time. If I need to go in the bathroom and turn on the faucet and bawl my eyes out for 5 minutes or bawl when I'm in the shower, I let myself do it. Yes. Because that releases it. That lets the anxiety breathe.
Yes.
And then I can literally breathe.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I love that you said that, because that's something that I do too. There are times when I just feel overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And I just need to release it somehow. And it's crying, that helps me. But once I do that, I'm like, okay, now I can go on.
Right. the key.
move
Now
forward
I can go on. It's not sit here in these tears for days and weeks and months. It's okay, let me cry and then keep going on. That's the key.
Yeah.
That's the grit.
Yes.
You cry it out and then you keep going.
Keep going. Yes. And there's nothing wrong with that.
That's actually a strong, courageous person.
Yes. 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 Absolutely. We have tears for a reason.
They have a purpose, right? And that mask would hold my tears back. That mask would like force me to literally swallow the tears. Like, ooh, I literally swallow them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But when we just release them, it's deeply, deeply, deeply healing.
Yes. 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 I always I talk about how we need to heal from the inside out.
Yes.
When we get a cut, our body actually heals from the inside out. And when it doesn't, it causes infection really. And it's not fully healed.
Right.
And so I always talk about that. We're emotionally, we're the same in that regard. And so when I think about things like gratitude, it's kind of like that balm that helps us to get all of that crud out of there, all of that stuff that's not healthy out, and it pushes it. It just pushes it out so that healing can come.
Can take place.
It can take place, absolutely. When we talk about stating how we feel, that's naming it, acknowledging how the emotion we're experiencing, also allowing ourselves to cry, that also helps get all of that stuff out.
That's it.
Yes, so that we can heal from the inside out. And once we heal, we may have a scab.
Right. Oh, we definitely will have a scab.
Yeah, and that shows, I've been through something, but it will not hurt.
Yes.
Like
I will not bleed to death.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that analogy, because we know that, but when we stop and think about it, it's like, oh yeah, you're right. It's like what it does is it gives people permission to feel their emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Because then it doesn't mean like, oh, if I feel my emotions, I'm weak. It's just, no, that's how our bodies and minds heal.
Yes. 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 And that's how we're made. We're supposed to. I mean, we can't get around it, really.
Right. That's how we were created. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's one of the things I'd always told our daughters, that it's okay to cry. Mm-hmm. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to feel whatever you're feeling. And it's okay to say, I'm angry. That's something, again, growing up, we couldn't say that.
Oh, no.
That era, you couldn't say that. Mm-mm. But I've told them, you can say to me, I'm angry. You can say to your dad, I'm angry. It's just the way that you say it. Mm-hmm. You can't yell at us.
Right.
Don't want you to yell at us. We're not going to yell at you. We're going to have a conversation. Right. You can say, I'm angry. You can also say, I'm hurt, and tell us what's happening so that we can talk about it, or we can try to help you. Yeah. That was something that I always wanted them to be able to do, was to express how they are feeling. And even today, I mean, they're 27 and 25 now. and they say, well, Mom, I didn't like that. You hurt my feelings.
Now they're really telling you, right?
Oh, yeah. Like, oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I didn't mean to.
Like, don't, you're honest. Who told you that? Oh, yes, your mom. I did.
But I think we have to be, when it comes that, we have to be honest with ourselves 100%. In order to be honest with others.
100%. And again, that's not weakness.
No.
I used to view that as weakness.
Yeah.
If I'm honest and really feel angry or sad, ooh, that's weakness. Ooh, I shouldn't feel that way.
Yeah. But it's not.
Mm-mm.
So, Laura, I'd really like for you to share a practical, or maybe I shouldn't say practical, but um, give us some examples of gratitude practice. Um, Something that you do personally, something that you've shared in your book, that someone can pick up right now today and put into incorporate it into their lives.
The most, I combine my words again, the most simple and sustaining practice that I teach this with every single person I work with teenagers, with adults, with children. And this is how I recently got started with gratitude. At the end of the night, when you're winding down the day, you're getting ready for bed, as you're getting ready, not something separate, but while you're brushing your teeth, while you're getting ready for bed, think about 3 things from that day you're grateful for.
Mm.
And I very specifically say that day because it forces us not to repeat. It forces us to think, what really did happen today that I'm grateful for? Who was that person that said that kind word, that stranger that just smiled at me? It forces us to think about the day. Mm-hmm. And the reason I say 3 is not like a set in stone. It has to be 3. But that's how our brains work. We can handle 3. If I told you 1, you'd say, oh, well, that's just not worthy of even remembering. But if I said 10, you'd be overwhelmed to never do it. So 3 is just a good medium number that our brains can hold. And what I do with people is write the word gratitude somewhere that's going to just jog your memory. A lot of people, like, they put 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night on their phone, they'll just have a reminder pop up and say gratitude. Mm-hmm. Or just write on their bathroom mirror, just the word gratitude. They'll put a post-it note somewhere in their car, that when they open up their console, they see it. So somewhere, the point, it doesn't matter where. A lot of people put it on their refrigerator. Yeah. It doesn't matter where. You just want that quick reminder when you see it. You're like, oh yeah, what am I grateful for today? Mm-hmm. So that it just jogs your memory to think about what you're grateful for. I even had one person that called me about 2 weeks after we worked together, and he's like, Laura, you made my life really difficult. And I said, oh, I'm very sorry. Why? And he said, you told me to put a reminder on my phone. I made a calendar event. And he actually did like midday around lunch because he just knew with his work schedule that would be best. Mm. So every day at 12, it said he was busy. Oh. Said, my secretary wants to know what I'm doing every day at noon. I can't have any work lunch meetings. And I said, well, you're busy. You're busy with gratitude. So he said, what do I need to do? And I said, well, remember, I said reminder, not calendar invite. So he had to change his calendar, and his secretary was very happy. So please, everyone, do not make it a calendar invite. I'm saying reminder on your phone. Do not block your schedule so that you're not available. It's a simple reminder that your phone dings and you're reminded. So again, the point is not how. The point is just that you have that jog. Mm-hmm. And what is going to happen? And this is the magic of how our brains work, and they're so incredibly powerful. Pretty soon, you won't need that reminder. Mm-hmm. Because as moments that you're grateful for happen, you just start to say, oh, I'm thankful for that sunshine. Oh, I'm thankful that meeting went well that I was really stressed about. Oh, I'm thankful I slept well last night. It just starts to pop up in your mind, and you don't need that reminder. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But to get started, we need that reminder because it's so new.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's all it takes. And literally, this takes a minute while you're doing other activities. So
Mhm.
it's not stop and meditate for 3 hours. It's integrated into your routine, your daily routine.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I love it. I love it. You know what I've started doing? I've
Please.
started, I, I've actually started deliberately and intentionally thanking people.
Oh, that's perfect.
I just
That's perfect.
for I mean, just little things really. Oh,
That is
oh,
perfect.
thank you. You made my day just for you came in here just to say hello. That means a lot to me. I thank them. And it's because I do appreciate it, but I didn't always say it.
Right. You didn't verbalize it.
Didn't verbalize it exactly. But now I'm starting to do that.
Yes. And that helps you and helps them, right? It's
Yes,
helping you both.
absolutely. Absolutely.
That's
It's real
brilliant.
interesting to see the surprise on people's faces.
Who, me? Are you talking to me?
So, yeah.
It's
But it
true.
does, it
They're
does. It,
not expecting it.
they're not
We're not used to that.
hmm hmm Yeah. Yeah. We're not. But it does. It makes it, I think it helps them, but it also it
Mhm.
definitely helps me because again, I can express gratitude for something that they didn't even think,
Right.
that they weren't thinking about anything, but for
Right.
me it was meaningful.
It was
And
meaningful
so,
and impacted your day.
yes. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So everyone, that's another way.
Yes, seriously, yes. Just start being aware of thanking other people.
Yeah.
That's a great way to get started, and that'll create that habit in your brain.
hmm hmm Yeah. Yeah. Wow. We have talked for almost an hour. Can you believe that?
We could keep going for 10 more.
I think so. I think so. This has been so wonderful. Um, I'm going to make sure that in the program notes that your website, I list your website, also your book, Harnessing Courage,
Yes.
Overcoming Adversity with Grit and Gratitude, so that I hope people will take a look at the book and get it because it is very inspiring and it gives lots of it tells us about you, but it also tells us how we can walk through
Right.
life
Yes.
facing difficulties that we may not have expected or absolutely couldn't prepare for.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah, yeah. So, Laura, I do want to thank you. I want to thank you for being so gracious. I want to thank you for joining me. Is there anything else that you would love to share with me or with our viewers before we say goodnight?
What I would absolutely love to share is for all of us to remember that in the midst of adversity, in the midst of stress, in the midst of overwhelm, of that hopeless despair, that mask is really, really thick and really, really tight, just like we've been describing. Remember that you are enough.
Mm.
Because in that stress, in that overwhelm, we forget that we matter. We forget we're still enough. We feel like the adversity, the change makes us not enough. It makes us weak. So that's what I want everyone to hear is that you are enough because you're you.
Mhm. Wow. Because you're you. Profound. You are enough. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining me on Stress Talk. I hope you will come back. I know we will talk to each other again soon, I hope.
Absolutely, 100%.
And everyone, remember, we go live on Sundays at 7 p.m. EST, Eastern Standard Time. I look forward to your being with us. I look forward to seeing you again. And as always, take good care.